We advise the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
You are what you watch.
Hello, my name is Harriton Watco. Welcome to our program. The topic for this show is, shouldn't the law prevail? Well, obviously the answer is yes. Now, the problem is, are we following the law strictly to the letter? Ladies and gentlemen, we have what we call a constitution. We have what we call a democracy, and we rightfully go around saying we abide by the rule of law. But do we really? There are a lot of issues, if you've been reading the major dailies, watching regular TV, network TV, the major TV networks, as well as even broadcast radio. Ang nangyayari po, ang dami nagre-reklamo. Hindi naman kasi lahat gusto magrevolusyon o galit sa gobyerno. Hindi naman po. Pero nangyayari, maraming kritisismo. Ang kritisismo, all of this emanates because there is a voice that needs to speak out, and this is the voice of the people. It's called public opinion. Public opinion, however, mind you, most especially media, because this show is part of the media platform. It's called TV. We create a public perception. We create what we think you are thinking, and we create what we say is what people think, which is not necessarily the truth. However, there are certain issues that can escape what we call the template or the standard way of creating perceptions, or called PR. It's been said many times, for example, that this administration is very good in propagating what they want other people to think, meaning their PR. The machinery is excellent, and they get their message across, and they convey their message. Now, the strength of conveying this message, the strongest being TV, because it's audio and video, and print is straight readership. The other one is just audio, meaning radio, generates perceptions based on what the networks want the people to think. And normally this is driven by the people who own it, the proprietors who are behind these media platforms. But like I said, there are times when real PR goes out of whack and can no longer be controlled. A good example was People Power in 1986, and as it goes on. The latest example was the cybercrime bill. When that came out, marami nagalit, ginamit yung social media, lumabas, to a point even on television and print, yun na rin mga topic na pinagsusulatan. Ngayon, one of the big issues or the priority issue na lumalabas na talaga ay yung anti-dynasty. It does not only come out in the major papers, it even comes out in the business weeklies. For example, today there was a column that says, "I am confused." And no less it was the business world. Yan, bihira yan na nagpo-politiko. But one of the opinions in the editorials was in this fashion, basically talking about anti-dynasty, the composition of the administration and the other administration ticket called UNA, saying that, hey, dynasties is all wrong, and why are these people together when to begin with, they are foes, they're not allies. Magkalaban mga yan, pero nagsasama-sama. Well, this is the problem. Now, as of today, the Philippine Star came out with no less the COMELEC, saying, as usual, the COMELEC chairman, we are inutil, we cannot do anything. So tell me what else is new. They're saying they cannot do anything about dynasties. However, they agree it's wrong. The people who is told to decide during voting time, which is in 7 months, buti na lang, there's 7 months to go, is kayo na lang gumawa niya kasi wala kami magagawa. There was a private complainant, an independent private taxpayer, which we all are. And he complained, and ang sagot kaagad, very quickly, quick reply, nakakagulat nga, no? Is immediately without study, hindi namin kaya yan. Kasi walang implementing guidelines. If you remember 2 weeks last week on this show, or is it 2 weeks ago, I had Attorney Alan Pagia, and this is exactly the issue. We talked about dynasty. Is it legal? Is it not? The answer, according to Attorney Alan Pagia, was a dead yes, it is illegal. Paano naman yung regulating rules and guidelines to be left to Congress? Well, he pointed out it's called policy. And the definition is quite clear. The spirit, the definition, the understanding, the comprehension of that law is in the Constitution. Ang naging problema lang, ano yung penalties and to what extent does that definition, can it extend to? Now, according to him, it's a violation on behalf of the people sitting in legislation. They are all in violation of what we call the Constitution. So I go back to that question. Shouldn't the law prevail, which is tonight's topic? And to help tackle this problem, this issue, which is sensitive, we have the third candidate. I'm not sure if you've seen him already on some TV stations like Channel 5, when he registered for the candidacy for the third person, the third senatorial candidate for the Ang Kapatiran Party, of which I belong. His name is Attorney Marwil Yasos. Hello, Attorney.
Good afternoon, Harry, and good afternoon sa lahat po ng...
Gabi na ngayon, taping to pero sa gabi lumalabas. So, good
na
afternoon, good evening, good day. Yeah. Sige, go ahead, Attorney.
So, hello, Harry. Good day to everybody. Sa lahat ng televiewers, magandang araw po sa inyong lahat.
Salamat, Attorney. Attorney, let's go straight to the point. First, okay, before going to the issues at hand, okay, you're running as a senatorial candidate for the AKP. So, I guess, mamaigit, tanongin ko, diretso na, no? Bakit?
I was hesitant at first. It's no joke to mount a senatorial campaign. It's a national position, and I don't think I have the resources to engage in this particular election. But when I was asked by Ang Kapatiran Party to join their senatorial lineup, I decided finally to say yes. So, in other words, I crossed the Rubicon. Because when I looked at the different candidates running for senator.
Lumakas ang loob mo, baliktad.
Lumakas ang loob ko. Because both the administration and the opposition, they're all the same bananas, no? So, I want to give a choice to the people. So, I am presenting myself as an alternative candidate so that the Filipino people will have a choice this coming May 13, 2013 elections.
Good on you, Attorney. I'm glad that you think that because most other people will say, matatakot sila kasi big names, dynasty, trapo, meaning traditional politician, and been there, done that. Ika nga ni Congressman Teddy Casino, wala na bang iba? Pare-pareho mga pangalan, okay. Pag sinabi mo na you need resources to run for Senate, ano yung ibig sabihin mo ng resources?
Financially, that is the answer, no? Financial resources. Because I was told by certain practitioners in election, those who handle candidates, that you need at least 170 million to mount a decent senatorial campaign. And it's just, you know, to have a national exposure and campaign. We don't have that, no? I don't even have 1 million, no?
But
so,
should you have the 170 million, would you give it to the campaign? Let's suppose you have 170 right now, million. Ilalagay mo sa kampanya?
I still will not be running for the Senate, no? That's a big risk. But what really emboldened me is, you know, I think I articulate the sentiment of the Filipino people nowadays, that they have enough of political dynasties and traditional politicians, that they want to have, you know, a clean slate, no, beginning May 13, 2013. At nakikita natin sa mga editorial, sa mga dyaryo, na talagang binabatikos.
Hanggang Channel 2,
hanggang Channel 2,
hanggang Channel 2 mainstream
That's
TV.
true.
Lumalabas tuwing umaga, binabatikos na nila.
Oo, ang naisip ko lang dyan, batikos tayo ng batikos doon sa mga political dynasties, and yet, ibinuboto naman natin. So, paano natin mababago ang sistema kung tayo mismo ay nakikilahok sa ganong klase na bulok na sistema? Kaya, sabi ko, para yung mga tao may rason na iwasan na yung political dynasty at ibasura nila sa susunod na halalan, bigyan kaya natin ng alternatibong kandidato na hindi gagamit ng mga pamamaraan ng mga traditional politicians na gumagamit ng PR, gumagamit ng limpak-limpak na salapi para lamang sa kampanya. Kasi ang naisip ko, kung hahayaan, halimbawa ang kandidato na gumastos ng milyon-milyong piso, 170 million, anong gagawin yan pag upo? Definitely to recoup the expenses. And so, that's the pork barrel system once again that will foot the bill for these politicians once they are elected in the Senate. So, hindi magbabago ang sistema ng ating pamahalaan. Kagaya nga ng nasabi ko kanina, they're all the same bananas. I was in fact tempted to say, they're all the same rotten bananas.
Well, I agree with you. I'm not going to act coy and say I don't. But do you believe that the sitting senators of today, regardless of those that are going out for re-election, do you believe all 24 of them, or well, 23 of them, have put money up front and spent 170 million each?
Oh, I cannot particularly identify who these are, but I am going
But
by
you're
the
confident.
rate. I'm confident by the rate that that the election handlers are telling me that they named names which for purposes of delicadez and at the same time fairness to the other candidates. I would not name names, but the lowest amount that a senator spent in the previous elections was 50 million. And
Why can't
but
you
he
name
won.
names? Why can't you name names? Because this is a free society. Assuming the lowest gave 50 million. So, pinakamababa nagbigay dyan. So, lahat sila dyan,
Meron.
naglagay na malaking pera.
Talagang
Miski papaano.
tataya ka. Kasi talagang yung sa kampanya pa lang, sa materials, and you are speaking about campaigning in 7,100 islands of the Philippines. Halimbawa, si Kiko Pangilinan is reputed to have spent the lowest amount for his senatorial campaign way back. Yun nga, 50 million halos lamang daw. Pero, ang hindi naipaliwanag, meron siyang Sharon Cuneta factor, which I do not have. No? At kaya makikita natin...
Sino pinakamalaki gumastos?
Hindi...
Kuro-kuro lang naman to eh.
Hindi nasabi sa akin kung ano yung,
okay.
yung pangalan ng kumandidatong napakalaki yung ginastos.
So, the fact that you can spend this kind of money, you believe in the Robin Hood idea that they're going to try to get it back.
Precisely, because there has to be a return on investment, no? Nag-invest ka paano mo mababawi 'yon? So talagang yung mga taong bayan alam na kung ano yung gagawin ng mga senador na gumastos. So napakalaki talaga ng factor ng pera sa halalang ito kasi kailangan mo ng watcher, kailangan mo ng political leaders, kailangan mo ng publicity, kailangan mo ng kampanya. Pera ang usapin. So, alangan namang gagastos ka na
Paano
hindi
yung
mo
vote
naman
buying? You
mababawi.
think these people are engaging in vote buying as well?
Hindi natin masabi kung merong ganon nga na nangyaring vote buying kasi yan ay pinapadaan yan sa mga local leaders. So, it's very difficult to lay the blame directly on the door of
Most
the
especially
national
for national
candidates.
candidates.
Yes, precisely.
But in local, mukhang gano'n ang labanan.
Ganun ang, labanan.
Wala nang kampanya-kampanya. Magkano na lalabas mo per person kung bibilin mo?
Meron nga mga hindi na nagkakampanya publicly kahit sa meeting advance hindi mo makita. Pero nananalo. And alam naman natin kung ano yung rason kung bakit gano'n.
So, what do you propose? How can you make the difference? Since you are offering yourself as the alternative, the option, the way out of the doldrums, the way out of anti-dynasty, to straighten this political system, to get rid of those who steal money. Ladies and gentlemen, para alam niyo po, no? The Robin Hood concept is to steal from the rich to give to the poor. Kaya ang tawag dyan, the Prince of Thieves. In this particular case, it's to steal from government to give to the poor. So ang ganda pakinggan, no? Except, the problem with government, the money comes from the poor as well.
Yeah.
So, ninakawan mo ang poor para bigay sa poor. Pero, 1 for you, 2 for me. 1 for you, 10 for me. Ganun po ang arithmetic dyan. Geometry, ang bilis umangat to the nth degree. Now, attorney, how do you propose to change the system? So first, hindi ka gagastos, so wala kang habulin na pera.
Yes.
Okay, let's go now to your advocacies, your angkapatiran advocacies, what you stand for. How will you change the country as a chief legislator, no less the higher Congress, which is the Senate?
First and foremost, ngayong kampanya mismo, we engage in political education of our people. Pinapaalam natin sa kanila kung ano talaga yung mga issues ng bayan at ano talagang dapat gawin. That's why we are transforming this campaign into some sort of a platform for political education to reach out to the people, to tell them that they do have a choice, that we have a principled partisan politics, and that is embodied in Kapatiran. And also we have candidates who are not part of the mainstream political parties, no? Who have the platform and the principles to stand for that they will advocate when they get elected to the Senate. Second, when we become senators of the land, when we get into the Senate of the Philippines, principally, the first thing that I would do is to sponsor a bill and fight for it vigorously,
Which is?
regarding the rejection of political dynasty. That there has to be a clear-cut definition of political dynasty, so there will be no excuse for a sitting mayor who is ending his term to let his wife run in his stead, or his son, or his daughter, for that matter. So dapat klaro ang ibig sabihin ng political dynasty at hanggang ilang extent ba, hanggang saan ba, by
Which
consanguinity
degree?
or affinity, which degree para matawag na political dynasty kung ikaw ay hahalili sa pwesto. O ilan kayo sa pamahalaan na parehas ang apelyido o pinagmulan sa pamilya. So dapat klaro yon. At yung penalty, no? Kasi ang batas ay kailangang may penalidad. Sapagkat kapag walang penalty, sayang, no? Toothless tiger ika nga. So we have to have that to put an end to political dynasty once and for all. Kung hindi man yan may isa batas, dahil alam natin napaka-strong ng opposition, doon mismo sa miyembro ng political dynasty sa Senado at sa Kamara, ang gagawin natin, we will let the people legislate. Meron tayong tinatawag na People's Initiative, and that has not yet been tried. So yung taong bayan na mismo...
12% of the voting population.
The population and
How
3%
do you go
per
about that,
district.
attorney? Kasi nabasa ko na yan kay Norman Cabrera sa SecGen ng KP. Yun ang strategy. But how?
Una sa lahat, magfa-file ka ng petition mo sa COMELEC. At ngayon nga, ang COMELEC ay wala pa silang klarong rules para dyan. At ano ba yung form ng petition? So, we want to help in that regard because ang Kapatiran Party is very proactive. Nagbibigay tayo ng solusyon. At magagather ng signatures sa bawat distrito at sa buong bansa. At kung hindi ako nagkakamali, if my figures are correct, you need, as you said, 12% total and at least 3% per district na mga registered voters. And the COMELEC will have to verify kung yung mga pumirma talaga ay talagang mga registered voters, no? At kapag na-certify na ganon, then there will be a referendum, no? Asking the people whether or not they are approving this people's initiative on against political dynasties. At kapag nanalo majority vote, yan ay batas na. At na-bypass na natin yung Kongreso na talagang hindi natin inaasahan na gagalaw ang mapwit nila sapagkat sila mismo na nakaupo doon ay galing sa political dynasties.
That's going to be a long process. I think the hardest part is going to be the 3% per district.
Yes. And,
It's harder than the national count of just getting the gargantuan numbers.
yes. At ang ano dyan, kasi syempre lalabanan yan ng mga district congressmen na member ng political dynasty. But the beauty there is you're bringing the issue to the people. No? Sa kanila naman ang gagaling itong kanilang opinion, itong kanilang mga sinasabi na ano ba naman, sila na rin lang naman ang nakaupo. Eh bakit hindi natin idala sa kanila at sila na mismo ang magkusa na pumirma? You know, this is part of the political process. This is part of political education. This thing could never be successful kung hindi natin uumpisahan. There has to be a start somewhere. No? And the time to start is now because time is running out on this country.
I agree with you. The problem, however, is you have close to 70% of all sitting government leaders, all with mandates, are already belonging to political families and dynasty. So how do we get rid of 70% of those who are currently leaders? Ang bigat atan, no less than the president is, do you know the succession line? Tinignan ko eh. The president comes from the Aquino Cojanco family, which
Yes.
goes back 50 years. You've got the Binay family, and with him, he's got the whole of Makati. His wife, his children are all in sitting positions. Mayor, congressman, ngayon, isa pa gusto senador.
Senador. Oo.
Then you have Enrile, who has been around the last 60 years,
Yes.
his political resilience is astonishing. You know, it's one for the books. But now with his son coming in with the exact same name for the Senate again. So you're going to have father and son. So
Yes.
dynasty na naman. Then you've got the Speaker of the House. You've got Belmonte. His daughter is also Vice Mayor in Quezon City. So they qualify. Immediately, apat na yan down. So wala na tayong gobyerno. Ang matitira niyan, Supreme Court. Diba? The fifth in line would be the Supreme Court Chief Justice. Isn't that interesting that should the initiative come into play or you strengthen the issues?
First and foremost, we can start this election by rejecting those candidates who come from political dynasties so that the Filipino people will send a strong message that they had enough of them. Imagine, ang tagal-tagal na nila, ganito pa rin ang buhay nating mga Pilipino.
Diba,
so, ibig sabihin, hindi successful. Hindi maganda.
People power na tayo, di ba?
Nag-people power na tayo.
Pero
Balik
nilagay
na naman
natin
sa
si Cory.
dati.
Cory is also a dynasty.
Precisely. Kaya wala tayong aasahan kapag ganyan. So yung mga voters mismo, once na-educate natin sila, sila na mismo pagdating ng halalan, ay dapat na ibasura yung mga kaanib o miyembro ng political dynasties. Kagaya ng nasabi mo, Hari, kanina, ang pinakamataas na leader ng ating bansa ay mga galing sa political dynasty. Yung Pangulo ng Pilipinas.
Lahat. All the way down.
Lahat. So talagang ano aasahan natin sa kanila. So dito natin ipapakita ngayon ng taong bayan mismo nagkakaisa na sabihin na natin na tama na, sobra na, palitan na. No? Kagaya ng slogan ng EDSA
Narinig
People
ko na
Power
yan.
Revolution.
We're going to have to take a short break, attorney. Ladies and gentlemen, the reason I brought up that issue with the succession is, we make a complaint, as our other guest said last week, the constitutional lawyer, Alan Pagia, should we make that change and decide that anti-dynasty will take effect, all four of them in succession will go down. And the one leader next that will come into succession, which is the fifth, is the Supreme Court Chief Justice. And interestingly enough, she, which is now in the gender, female gender, becomes the sitting acting president till the next election. And yet, she is the benefactor and the very body that will decide if it is legal or not. Isn't that interesting? Biro mo, in the final analysis, the final arbiter will become the Supreme Court. And the final arbiter that will balance the nays and the whatever inside the Supreme Court, since it's a collegiate body, will eventually be the CJ. And this being the case, she would be the benefactor. I mean, don't you find that interesting? Now, if only that would really happen, then maybe we would have what we call a real political change without what we call violence. But yet, there are many historians who say the reason we are the way we are is because we have not learned the hard lessons of the virtues of discipline, nationalism, patriotism, and all these words, simply because we've never had a civil war. Then again, can we still go forward and look for that civil war? Should we require it? Because after all, the big countries of the world had to go through this experience. America, Japan, Europe, etc. And yet tayo sa Pilipinas, hindi. Ang Pilipino, hindi niya babaril yung pinsan niyang Pilipino. We saw this in People Power in EDSA 1. But the question is, how do we bring about these disciplines that we require before we can progress? Because what's currently happening is, well, we become the laggard of Asia. Although right now there are movements, without a doubt. But is it fast enough? Is it progressive enough? Is it enough to reduce poverty, to bring up the numbers to what they are due in life? We'll answer these questions as we come back, as we get into the personal life this time of our guest attorney, Marbuel Llamas, and to find out what it is that can make him the right option, the solution towards a better Senate. We'll be right back.